Hi, everyone. Welcome to our first of many Plant Magic Wellness Chats. We're going to do a monthly call, normally on the second Wednesday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Next month in January, doTERRA is having this big wellness call actually on the second Wednesday. So we're going to reschedule that one, but otherwise that will be the day and time. And I'm so excited. You can join us live, ask questions, watch the replay, whatever works best for you. And if you can't make it live, just send me questions before and we can make sure we cover them. So we're going to basically be covering every month, just spending a little bit of time talking about different topics, but also highlighting the specials that are going on. Usually every month there's different like products that you have the potential to get for free if you order on loyalty rewards program, which I know all of us here have been doing for many years, taking advantage of that great way to get lots of free stuff and free shipping and all of that. So just diving deeper into the education, we have so much to share. And if we're missing something and you're like, hey, I use it this way and you didn't talk about it, let us know. So yeah, we'll talk about different monthly promotions, the education behind it, and different wellness topics to just dive deeper into the education. Mostly about the essential oils, but there might be products here and there as well, supplements and different things. So I'm really excited. I'll introduce myself. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Jessica Jean Weston. I am a holistic health coach. I'm the chef owner of an organic, vegan, gluten-free restaurant, Super Fresh Organic Cafe in Brattleboro, Vermont, which we've been serving for 12 years. I have a cookbook, Healing Tonics, Juices, and Smoothies, and teach classes from like food, wellness, essential oils, aromatherapy, low tox living, all of that, lead retreats, and the like. That's my brief synopsis. I basically came to all of this so I could physically feel better because I was really sick, and just have always had an inclination towards plants, even when I was a little kid, like picking currants or making random weird concoctions with my mom in the kitchen. And now I'm like tracing it back to Italian lineage through my mother's side, which has been really fun. Seeing those connections pop up and the ancestral work has been really beautiful. And then Emily is going to be joining me as a co-host to support and bring her beautiful wisdom. So I'd love for you to introduce yourself.
So my name is Emily. I'm a licensed acupuncturist in New York and New Jersey, with a background in yoga and energy healing. I sort of like to infuse these topics with traditional Chinese medicine and incorporate the essential oils into treatment, but also to carry the treatment into your everyday life by using the acupressure points with the essential oils so you can sort of get the benefits of having an acupressure or acupuncture treatment while not being in the office. And I've also found that working with the essential oils, you're literally shifting the frequency of your energetic and physical body. So by putting them on the acupressure points, you're just amplifying that energy. So I've also created my own series of blends, but I'll work with doTERRA blends as well. And the blends that I create are generally like channeled, but they also, some of them work with specific elements. So I have like a water blend, a fire blend. So again, sort of weaving in these ideas of traditional Chinese medicine with essential oils. So, and I have a lot of fun. So I'm excited to continue growing this journey and continuing using the oils and being there to also help my patients use the oils in their everyday life as well.
Mhm. Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna plug you. Emily has an Instagram page, Natural Wellness with Emily. Is that also now your website?
It is,
All right,
yes.
so Natural Wellness with Emily.
Yep.
And she's been posting weekly different blends or a single oil and different points you can use it for to support your body, mind, and spirit in many different ways. And I'm also trying to stay consistent with making a at least once a week post in the oil specific realm on top of my other offerings, because we're just trying to bring more education and sharing that knowledge. So check Emily out. Mine is Jessica Jean Weston. And if you're a part of my doTERRA team, if this is okay with you, Emily, I'm just going to say it and offer it. I know Christine, who's on, you are a part of my Super Fresh Living membership community, and we have bonus master classes with other wellness experts around the globe. And Emily was our first one in August and did a beautiful acupressure and essential oils class that has, I was just like, it was so good. And there's a beautiful PowerPoint. Would you, Emily, be open if I, like anyone on my doTERRA team, if I like if they're not a member, just give them the link for the recording?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
it's so amazing. And we just like have personally seen, and I really know, like everybody who's watching this has seen like the power, whether you're just starting out and have just experienced one oil or or even a product that you have fallen in love with. But like, I don't go a day without like this bag being toted around my house with me or in my car, or if I don't travel without them, I have them in my wallet. I actually just got, Emily sent me some beautiful sprays. So, yeah, so I'll share that with you if you're interested, or Christine, it's in the membership, so you can find it at any time. And it's really great. So we're just trying to share more education. And tonight we're going to focus primarily on the promos. But before we do that, before I start talking education, we're going to do a little tune in to get us set.
Mm. So I'd like to lead you all in a quick little grounding meditation. So if you can close your eyes, focus on lengthening your spine. If you could have access to your feet, that would be great. So if you have frankincense with you, even better. But if you don't have access to either of those things, that's okay too. So I'd like for you to take, if you have your frankincense, take a little bit on your hands. And I'd like for you to just start massaging the soles of your feet. So focusing on underneath the ball of the foot. So really just massaging. You can start to feel any areas that are being called to touch. And using whatever pressure might feel good for you. So maybe light or more firm. And if touching your feet is not accessible, just really feeling your feet firmly planted onto the earth. And no matter where you are, imagine that your feet are literally on the soil of the earth. So feeling whatever sensations might be coming up for you. So maybe the image of mud is coming up, or dirt, or maybe it's grass. So go with whatever your gut instinct is telling you. And taking a deep breath in. Feeling that woodsy aroma fill your entire being. And exhaling all the way back down. Inhaling through the soles of the feet. Drawing that energy to your lower back, letting it swim there for a moment. Maybe feeling the hips drop a little bit heavier. Really feeling centered in your own space, your own gravity. On your next inhale, feel that lengthening through the spine, through the crown of the head. into the brain, allowing that fluid that you're pulling up into the lower back and then drawing through the spinal column. So really allowing that flush through your whole spinal column, through the brain, and exhaling, coming all the way down to your feet. And let's do that one more time. Inhaling through the soles of the feet, through the lower back, through the spine, through the brain, maybe reaching the pituitary gland, that third eye, and then exhale all the way back down. Again, imagining your feet firmly rooted into the earth. In your mind's eye, maybe even wiggling your toes in whatever dirt you're feeling. And when you're ready, you can slowly flutter the eyes open. And coming back into this present moment. I feel like we could just spend like 20 minutes just doing that.
That sounds good. Just to get in my bed.
It's funny, because I'll get visuals of the treatment or like what's being activated. So I was like, oh, we could do so much with this.
I know. We'll have to do other calls, yeah, that are more like just that. Um, Amazing. Thank you so much. Feels so good.
I will say frankincense is really great for the soles of your feet because you're getting into the kidney meridian. So really great for your nervous system.
Mm,
Really great for like fear,
mm.
feeling rooted.
Yeah. That's so great to learn more about. Like I know that it's good to put it on the bottom of your feet. Like a lot of people just like say to do that to like ground and calm. But to have that perspective of why from your background is really interesting. Yeah. And of course, like there's so many other like centers and that run through the feet. like
Well, I mean, look
like
at
everything.
reflexology. You can literally tap into every part of the body.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. And it's such a great delivery way. Has anybody heard of like when you put a clove of garlic on the bottom of your foot or putting half an onion on the bottom of your foot if you're sick? No, I'm like the weird witchy.
I haven't heard of it, but I'm open to it.
I mean, I know you're a weird witch
I've
too.
heard the oregano oil.
Yeah, diluted. Unless you're my
Yeah.
mother, she somehow doesn't react to oregano neat on her skin. I think she must be like super hardcore Italian, but like I am too, but like I can't do it. And I'm like, Mom, you shouldn't do that. But she's like, I'm fine. Um, and so if you put a clove of garlic on the bottom of your foot, you'll taste it within like seconds.
Hmm.
And it's like a good, or maybe a minute, but it's basically a test to see like how quickly things move from the bottom of the feet through the bloodstream. Because if
That's
you can
really
taste it in your
interesting.
mouth, like how quickly that was. And then the onions pull out toxins. So cutting an onion in half, you never want to leave, like, you never really want to store an onion in the fridge not wrapped or not in a sealed container because everything, it pulls out toxins. So anything around it, it's going to take in their flavor, but also take in any toxicity if there's anything going moldy in the fridge. I mean, you could do that just to pull out that from other things in your fridge, but then don't eat that onion. So the whole thing is like I know like moms who put half an onion on the bottom of their kid's foot with a sock when they're sick at night, which is great. Like, yeah, but like they wake up and the onion will be like black. Yeah, so gross, but it's really cool how that works. So one of the reasons that we're talking about frankincense tonight, beyond it being like the king of essential oils, it's personally in my top 3 of like desert island oils. Um, but it's also free this month with any 200 PV order, and that's for anyone. So if you buy retail, don't ever buy retail from doTERRA. But if for some reason you want to, because that's what you want to do, you get a free frankincense with 200 point order. New customers, current customers, on or not on loyalty rewards, just any 200 point order. It doesn't have to be with the loyalty program. Every single person gets it. And that's a 15 ml bottle. So the bigger one, I have a smaller one here that came in like this other ancient oils collection a couple years ago. But the 15 ml has like around 250 drops of oil. I go through like at least 4 frankincense a year with how I use it. And I use it respectfully, but it's just I use it every day. There's a couple days that might go by without it, but it's very rare. I have them now over the years. It's been 10 years I've been ordering with doTERRA specifically and using oils longer. But I'll have them, like I have one in my bathroom, definitely for like skincare, or I don't often put it in the bath, although it's beautiful in a bath. For tonight's call, I wanted to diffuse the 3 oil. I wanted so badly to add a citrus oil to my diffuser tonight, but I was like, no, I'm going to just do frankincense, myrrh, and balsam fir, because those are the 3 we're talking about. It's really nice. So it's not one I would have really done for no reason other than I would have wanted to add a citrus, but I highly recommend it. I think I got like 1 drop of myrrh, maybe 1 to 2 of balsam fir, and 2 of frankincense. Oh, it's so nice. So yeah, basically any 200 PV order, and in the past it had to be separate to, if you could get up to 4 free frankincense this month. So if you're Christmas shopping or just stocking up or know how much frankincense you use for the year and have the means to place a bigger order, it used to be you'd have to place separate 200 PV orders. Now it's just for every increment of 200 until you hit 800 PV, which I'm not able to do this month, but if you have that ability, technically you can get up to 4 free frankincense, and that's like a $79 bottle, we all know. I would love to hear like other ways you guys use it, if there's other things you're excited in December for, before we like really dive into, I have like a very long list of things that frankincense is good for, just to help me so I don't forget. Do you have any favorite ways to use? And
I
you can
mean,
also
I
type
just
in the chat too
started
if you don't want to unmute.
yeah, I mean, I just started taking mine daily internally, which I'm like, why was I not doing this before?
Same, just this
Um,
week.
Yeah. So what were the calls for you? So that was like that finally hit, like that flipped that light switch to take it internally.
for me, yeah, I just feel like I've always used oils topically, and I've sort of had this like light bulb moment of there was this huge untapped like potential to be working internally. I don't know. I guess maybe my system is just ready for it. So I don't know. Christine, I'd be curious to hear what you have to say.
I literally didn't even know you could take it eternally. I mean, other than it has the supplement fact on, I knew that, but I didn't think about it until last week, just when you came and you helped me with the thing and you mentioned it. And I was like, why am I not doing that? I have high inflammation. I'm chronically inflamed, and I'm doing everything in my power to try to help that. And this is just another tool that I'm going to implement as daily, well, as much as I can, for sure.
Yeah.
I think also for me was realizing, um, well, I'm sorry, I sort of was going to add on to that as you were saying that. I was like, oh, yeah, I should have said this too. And, like dealing with like seasonal, like I really, after Thanksgiving, I was like, man, I'm feeling consistently kind of just low energy, fatigued, like kind of down, just like blue. And I'm like, what do I have access to like now? And I was like, like I have oils like literally sitting there and I can take it immediately. So, yeah.
Yeah. It's so incredible. So, and we can, so the freebie this month is the 15 mil straight oil. And up until like September, this was the only way that we got frankincense other than in other products. Like I know it's in, I want to say Alpha CRS in the Lifelong Vitality, or now the VMG, DDR Prime caps or DDR Prime essential oil blend has it, which is an unsung hero. There's a lot of really great educational videos that could dive deeper into DDR Prime, but it's basically the like, if you took nothing else, a lot of the top people at doTERRA say take DDR Prime. Even like the doctors and scientists are like, even above the like the Lifelong Vitality, which everyone's always toting, they're like, take DDR Prime first. That's the one that if
Thank
anyone
you.
has, oh, you have it. Great. Yeah. Yeah. So, and they do have capsules of that. So it's in like, I mean, it's cheaper to just have the oil. But for folks
Yeah.
who prefer, there are just soft gels already available. It's so incredible. And it has some oils that aren't normally available, including Litsea. Although if anyone ever wants Litsea, whenever my Aussie friends come, I always have them bring me it. So we can always get those oils. um,
Put me down for
so,
one.
yeah, so it's just incredible. And it's one that's, I have to be a little careful on what I say, especially because we're going to have a recording of this versus a private call. But really amazing for all things inflammation, all things like it fights. There's components in frankincense that have been proven. There's like thousands of studies on frankincense, on boswellic acid. And ours is the doTERRA frankincense is a blend of 4 different types of boswellia tree. So frankincense is a tree resin, for those of you who don't know, mostly from Oman, Yemen, that region of the world. They call it the tears of the tree. It's all resins are tears of trees. So it's, if you think of it, it's similar. It's not, frankincense is taken in a way different than how maple syrup is tapped from a tree, but it's a similar type of concept. And it's been used, I mean, we're coming up to Christmas, so of course it's like one of the holiest sacred oils that was brought to baby Jesus for a reason. It was in the elite circle. Cleopatra used it to keep her immune system up, to, of course, have glowing, radiant, gorgeous skin. And ancient Egyptians, so they say, with their headdresses, they would have like those huge headdresses and they would fill them with fat or wax or other materials like that, like fatty, waxy materials, and resins and plant matter like myrrh, frankincense, and those are dripping down the skin in the heat of the Egyptian sun, and it's creating glowing skin. It's going into their bloodstream to increase their immune response, fighting free radicals, which is great for inflammation and pain. And it's also really great as a sun protectant. That frankincense and myrrh is 10% off this month. There's always an oil that's 10% off, on top of the already 25% off pricing. So it's just, I mean, it's like, there's so many things you could go on and on about it, but it's also really great for really like the big diseases that you think of, that most of us know someone or multiple people who have battled or are suffering or have passed from. It's incredible to see the studies. If you look up frankincense, and I'm not going to say the disease name, but might start with a C, not the one that has been recent. And I'm not going to say it's like a cure-all for all of that, but it has been really supportive, and internal use is really where it extra shines. Like tumors have gone down or been erased, cells completely regenerate, and it's really amazing. So I can share some of that too, if anyone wants to reach out. It's amazing for neurological system. So anyone who has like any nervous system work or damage, whether it's working with seizures and epilepsy, concussions. I've had friends who've like had major concussions, using frankincense and oil pulling. If you've ever done like oil pulling, frankincense and myrrh is actually really great for oral health as well, but it's really great in that way. I add it to my skincare. It's amazing to regenerate cells and keep a glowing like complexion. Bumps and bruises, bug bites. It's literally like have you guys heard when in doubt frankincense, or when in doubt frank it out? It's literally when they're like, what oil do I use for this? What's good for that? What oil should I use for this? Like any question, frankincense could be the answer. There might be something that is specifically targeted to something, but frankincense basically covers the full ground. It's used in a blend that people used to call flume, but now call flute. So frankincense, lemon, oregano, tea tree, and on guard. On guard is the doTERRA blend of clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, wild orange, and cinnamon. So you can take that, you can put it in a roller bottle and roll it on your spine, roll it on your throat, bottom of your feet, put it in a cup and take it internally, or a cup makes little soft gels, diffuse it. Really great for like that winter wellness support or any time of year support. What else? Adding a drop of frankincense to your deep blue stick can be really nice for added, deep blue. And this deep blue stick, I love that they did that. One, because I don't have to get my hands covered in the rub, and then I'm like, ugh. I think the rub is still great for certain things, like especially massage therapy practices. But otherwise, I'm deep blue stick all the way. And I love that it has copaiba added, because I was always adding copaiba. And then frankincense is just going to like take it over the top. You could throw turmeric in and take it over the top. And then balsam fir is, I'm kind of like jumping around a little bit, but just to note, if you do order on the loyalty rewards program, which you don't have to order a specific amount every month, but if you happen to place an order of 125 points by the 15th of the month, so that's coming up soon, every month you get a new free product. Sometimes it's a couple things. It's usually just one oil. This month it's balsam fir. I love when they do limited time oils that aren't normally available. You cannot normally buy this oil. You can only get it on the loyalty reward program if you order 125 PV by the 15th, and you're going to get a little snowflake diffuser ornament. I have a bunch of the diffuser ornaments from over the years, like a pine cone and different fun shapes. But balsam fir, I brought that up because it's amazing for, it has a lot of similar things that it's good for, but it's really great for sore muscles, pain. Really calm. If you think of any of the big trees, it's going to have that really grounding strength energy. Of course, it smells like Christmas. A lot of us are getting balsam fir trees as our Christmas trees up here. It's all the trees are also really great, like whether you're using Siberian fir, black spruce, balsam fir, really great for skincare as well. And they're all doing different things. You know, they have different chemical constituents that are working on different levels. So it's good to have that diversity, or even mix it up in your skincare. I mean, I feel like frankincense is one that you can just universally use like every day. um, I do for years. Um, let's see what else. I've gotten even like if I hit my head on I was like opening my screen door a couple years ago going into my house and like banged it on my head and felt like I was going to have a huge bump, and I put frankincense on it and it was fine. Sometimes you have to like reapply a couple times, of course. Um, really great for any like scarring, um, especially doing like, have you guys heard of aromatic dressing? Or you could, I mean, it's also like self massage after like when you get out of the shower or take a bath, like aromatic dressing. I feel like she might have coined it this way, but maybe it's from somewhere in the aromatherapy world. Basically, I have a little bowl that lives in my bathroom that my friend, like a local ceramicist made, and it's my aromatic dressing bowl. So I'll put a carrier oil, jojoba, the fractionated coconut oil, whatever you want to use, and then add whatever oils before I get in the bath. And then, of course, I'll take like my Epsom salt bath with maybe some bentonite clay and essential oils and all of that. And then I have my aromatic dressing ready to go. So frankincense is a really great one to put in there. And just giving yourself a full body massage from like the feet up the legs and like loving on yourself, every piece of you, after you get out of your shower and bath is really nice. Really nourishing for the skin, regenerating those cells. Internally amazing for pain and inflammation, especially when combined with turmeric and copaiba. My dad had like really severe sciatic pain. This was before the pandemic, and I went down to Florida to visit them. He was like running out of his pain meds, which were probably, he said they made him feel maybe 10% better, but it was better than nothing. And he was running out, and his doctor isn't down there. And but they were like on like a 2-month trip, and they're retired, and when men are in pain, everybody knows it. At all hours, he was not able to lay down. He was sleeping in like a lazy boy, but he couldn't really sleep, so he wasn't getting much sleep. And so when I got there, I pull my oils out, and I knew when I was going down that they had this. So I might not have had my turmeric on me, but I brought it knowing. But frankincense and copaiba I always have with me. So I made a little blend in like a small cup of water with 2 drops each of frankincense, copaiba, and turmeric oils. And I did it probably in like 2 to 4 ounces of water, and had him take that twice a day. You could do it 3 times a day. And 6 hours in, before he had taken the second serving, he was like, I'm 60% better. I'm amazing. It was kind of crazy. And then that night he slept in the bed for 6 hours. He took it again the next morning. So three servings of it, 3 doses. And the second night he walked a mile uptown, where he couldn't walk downstairs to the pool the day before. It was just like it's mind blowing what these can do. But then you see it happen again and again, and you're like, well, I see it happen. What else? Is there anything else you want to share about frankincense, Emily or Christine?
I'd like to ask you a question.
Yeah.
So, first of all, when you use frankincense as part of your skincare routine, are you adding it to something that you're doing, or you are just putting it in a carrier?
Yes.
Yes.
And yes. I kind of mix up my skincare routine a bit. I mean, there's certain things I always do. I always have like either rose water, or right now I'm using the rose hydrosol mist. I'm like have my last bottle that I'm running
I
out of.
know, I miss it.
It's so good. I hope that they have to release that again. And the rose moringa oil, I have like the tiniest bit left. Oh my God.
What I
That
would
hyd
love to see them do also is to sell separates. So for the This is a side thing. We don't have to go
Yeah.
into this.
So what do you want?
The Virage oil.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean?
Isn't it just sold as a kit?
No.
You can buy it separate?
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Then corrected.
It's like a little bit cheaper when you buy it as a kit if you're gonna get all the things. But like I started using, I like the Virage serum and the cleanser the most. But I
Mm.
use my, I don't, I just like using either rose hydrosol or rose water. I don't versus a toner. Personally, at this current point in my life journey, that could change. Our bodies are always changing. The seasons change. Like what I need now with like a dry house with heat in the winter is so different than what I need in the summer. So what, and then we're exposed to sun. So it's like variations. But yeah, I mean, I sometimes I'll literally, you can literally just like take frankincense. I mean, I have oily skin right now and like do a little bit on your skin, neat. It's really, really great in a carrier oil like jojoba or fractionated coconut oil because they like mimic the skin's sebum, if I'm saying that word correctly. And you can make your own skin serums. I have a recipe, a couple recipes I've posted in the past couple weeks online I can share. You can literally just do frankincense in a carrier oil in the palm of your hand. You could just drop them in, or you could have pre-made a bottle, which is then going to use less frankincense because you could just put in in like a 2-ounce bottle or something, you could put 10 drops of I err on the side of a little bit more because I want, you could go up to like 1 to 2 drops on your skin every day or even more. But you don't need to if it's already diluted. So then you're saving yourself money too. And it's more sustainable for the plant, which if you don't know about like the frankincense harvesting, I would definitely check that out. And the sustainability that doTERRA is committed to is really important to me. Their website, sourcetoyou.com, is really incredible and goes over a lot of their oils, not every single, I don't think it has every single one, but they have a lot of sourcing stories. And they'll take an oil off the market or limit its availability if it's not sustainable. They did that with birch years ago. We used to have, I think we used to have, oh, was it white pine, or it was a different kind of like fir. It was another big tree oil that used to be available like in the first 1 to 2 years, or maybe the first 5 years that they were around. And then they took it off because it wasn't sustainable. But then recently they found a sustainable way and a place to harvest and produce and everything for birch. So now it's back. When copaiba first came out, they were still like sorting out all the details of making sure it was sustainably sourced and for everybody. And you could only order 1 per account each month. So like they've put certain caps on things over the years, or that I think that that is also one of the reasons why we have some of the oils are limited time oils. And it might be a plant that grows in abundance, but we just haven't found a sourcing partner to grow it in abundance for the quantity in a sustainable way that doTERRA holds such high standards for. So I really like the work they're doing with frankincense. They literally have like teams monitoring the trees and have had third party like research folks come in and make sure that everything is going to be there for generations to come. It's not just like, let's strip the land for profit, which I don't want to be a part of. So I think that's really great. What
Jess, can I
else?
ask a question?
Yeah.
Can you make your own rose water spritzer with like the rose essential oil, maybe like witch hazel? I don't know. What would you do?
Yeah, so you could, and I feel like Emily could speak into that really
Maybe
well.
not.
She makes these really beautiful sprays. The difference is essential oil and hydrosols are different. So, like the hydrosol is the liquid that separates from, how am I going to describe this? Do you know about the distillation process much with steam distillation? So basically the essential oil, the oils come out and you have the essential oil, and then the steam is the hydrosol, like whatever the steam was is the hydrosol. That's why it's very like a whisper of rose or a whisper of balsam fir. Yeah.
I
So you
just
can
know for
totally
my,
make
yeah,
mists
for my
and sprays.
sprays,
It's
I
just going to be
always
a little
add,
different.
sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
For my sprays, they're more intended for room spray because I always put alcohol in them to help them integrate. So, I mean, you could put it on your skin, but you know, I don't personally want to put 99 proof alcohol on my skin. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And like the stabilization process to hold the oil. Yeah, but I've been reading, I've been like really diving a lot deeper, and looking at some certification programs, aromatherapy programs. And I for years have like, you can make rose water at home. I haven't done it yet, but there is it looks pretty simple with like, I mean, of course it's going to be different. Like the rose petals we get when they were harvested, there's going to be different medicinal chemical components, but there's a lot of similarities too.
So I've done that.
Oh yeah.
Um, you know, my biggest thing is that when we're making things with natural products at home, the shelf life is much shorter.
Mhm.
So you want to make sure you're using it, you know,
Yeah.
more quickly than you would if you had purchased it. Because I had made a huge, that's just my like word of caution.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really fun to make, and it's, you know, we have a big rose bush, and it's had these like fantastic blooms the last couple of years, because they've been like nurturing it, and um, so I think it was really happy to be harvested, but it made so much, and I couldn't get to it, and then it went, you know, some of it went bad, and so that would be my only.
Yeah, that's true.
I'd be curious about your class that you're looking into.
Yeah, well, I'm still kind of surfing around. There's a few different ones. I'm sure there's even more that I haven't found yet. Yeah.
So I think, um, Christine, I think if you added a few drops to water to use as a little spritz in the meantime to hold you over, I'd be curious to hear how it goes.
Yeah, well, I wonder if you would still want to put like some kind of carrier into it and then add
So,
distilled water.
yeah, I would think you still want to add some kind of oil to it.
Yeah. Like a little dash of fractionated coconut oil and then the rest with distilled water. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why if you
I
have like the
yeah,
rose touch, maybe. Um,
Yeah. Yeah, you can pop that roller top off of the Rose Touch and then put it on. And I just wanted to mention, and this is not what the 10% off one is this month, but a couple years ago, anyone who has opened a bottle of Myrrh or vetiver knows that over time it becomes almost impossible to open. And they take forever to get that drop out because it's so thick and it's incredible. Like they're such beautiful oils, and I'm so glad we have them. And I'm so glad we have them undiluted. And a couple years ago, doTERRA released the Myrrh Touch and Vetiver Touch. So if you don't know about that yet, it's already pre-diluted. And myrrh is amazing for like wrinkles, skin. It's like I think of like my mom's hands. Like they're really great. It's really great for like cuticles, nail health. I have like some like dryness in between a couple of my fingers at that like crease point right now that I've been using myrrh on. I mean, rose and frankincense are also really great. I love the Immortelle, but I would want to have it in a carrier oil for that type of stuff. Because the Immortelle is not a touch, so it's not diluted. Um, I just wanted to point that out. Not 10% off this month, but I use Myrrh Touch a lot more than I use it neat. But if you are making your own blends, especially or diffusing or wanting to take it internally, it's great that we have it neat. And you can add a drop of like myrrh, frankincense, and clove could be a really great like oil pulling blend, or even just one of any of those oils. They're all amazing for oral health. Clove, actually, I would say being the most important. Yeah. Or on guard if you don't have clove by itself yet. I don't use clove that much by itself, but it's extremely powerful for oral health and one of like the most incredible immune support oils.
Can I ask you
What
one
do you
other
pull?
question?
What carrier do you use to pull with that?
So I would do like not fractionated. I would use like the coconut oil I'm cooking with in my kitchen. So it has that like, it doesn't have the those molecules like taken out of it. It has that texture. Yeah. It's always good to do this stuff because I'm like, oh yeah, I should do that again. It's been a long time. Another thing Emily and I were talking about earlier was dry brushing. And frankincense is a really fun one to put on a dry brush. Put a couple drops on and dry brush before you get in the shower. Really great for circulation, skin health, all of that. Other ones I really like for dry brushing would be pink pepper, which I'm not going to say too much about other than breast health, talking about like that big C disease we were talking about earlier. Pink pepper and DDR prime and frankincense would be like the top three if I or anyone I knew was working through that. I would be taking internally frankincense, DDR prime, pink pepper like every day. I would be doing a breast massage if it was that or wherever on the body. And I just have to highlight the new, they're not part of the promos this month, but just really, really exciting is the frankincense stick has the now wood, which is, this is the, it's so amazing. So it's like super calming. It's like almost gone. It's like breaking apart. The less, it literally like fell, like, yeah, it's like falling out. But it's so good. Now wood is also from Hawaii. It's false sandalwood. Iliahi is also its name. And it's just so incredible. So this one is really great for all things skin, pain, inflammation, putting it on your skin, any creases. I just put it straight on my face, hands, basically anything skin support and inflammation. And even more exciting than the stick, I'd say by like 10 times, if I can say that number, would be the capsules, which I don't have right now because I ran out. If you buy them together, there is a little discount of like, it's like a frankincense bundle with the capsules and the stick. What's cool about that is the essential oil just can't have boswellic acid in it just because of the distillation process. The boswellic acid molecules are too big. It will never be able to, well, I don't want to say never, but it has yet to be found a way to capture it in essential oil form. So what they did with the frankincense capsules, it's the essential oil and boswellic acid. So they're, if I had them, they're so beautiful. They're like, you have the oil and then you have these little dots that they've like encapsulated to release with the boswellic acid. And that's where a lot of the research around, especially like the bigger inflammation-based diseases, fighting free radicals, is based on the boswellic acid, even more so than the essential oil. So I highly recommend trying those out, or at least knowing about them if anyone in your life is working through things like that, or even just as prevention, pain, inflammation, and the big diseases. Yeah.
Can I ask
And
you another
anything
question?
neurological, concussion support, seizures, epilepsy. Yeah. So I think those are a lot of what I wanted to cover. Of course, it's also, we could talk really briefly about the energetics. I feel like Emily could share a lot there.
Can I ask you another question about Frank?
Yeah, I'll try
Um,
to know the answer.
no, it was just a follow-up about your dad, that case you shared about your dad.
Yeah,
And you say you did 2 drops each in about 2 ounces of water. That was 1
two to
serving,
maybe 4 ounces, 2 to 4 ounces of water. Yeah.
and he would drink then, so that was like 6 drops that he was drinking as 1 serving.
Yeah. And it didn't have to be with food.
Have you had any experience making tinctures with them?
No, I've never
Okay,
even thought about that.
I'm just curious. Yeah,
Like,
I'm
do you mean
curious.
just like putting it in alcohol?
Yeah, and then just dropping it underneath the tongue.
I don't see why not, but I also don't necessarily see why.
Why you would need to. Yeah.
Yeah. You could also make like a master bottle. Like, oftentimes what I'll do is like, I feel like you guys might have done this, having been working with these oils for so long too, and like building, like having a kind of ridiculous collections. Um, once I have like multiple bottles of something, and like you can split them in half and be like, oh, I have, like, you could even like just take the cap off and like pour some in, and then it's like, oh, I have a frankincense in my car, and or in my purse, and I have a frankincense in my bathroom or by my bed or wherever you like to keep your oils, and like have them where you're going to use them is super helpful. um but what you can do is make a master blend. So something like that, you could take an empty bottle or an almost empty bottle that you're like, oh, there's a few drops in there and I can't get them out. One thing I like to do is, certain oils I will never put in my bath. Like, I don't want deep blue or peppermint in my bath. Thank you. Or clove. Too spicy, too hot, too tingly. No, thank you. But I'll take the cap and the little orifice thing off, and roller blends too. And I'll just put them by my bath, like lavender, serenity, cedarwood, vanilla, frankincense, balance, any of adaptive, and then I'll just add a few to my bath, and it will pull out. Like, I'll put an Epsom salt bath in, and it pulls out whatever oils are in there and makes the bath smell like those oils. That's one. Or like for what I did with my dad, you could take the bottle and put equal drops, if that's what you're going for. But in this situation, you would do equal drops frankincense, turmeric, copaiba, and then he could just like give it a gentle, not like a vigorous shake, but just like a gentle little shake, and put, what would that be, 6 drops in his water, or make soft gels. The thing with veggie caps is you have to basically make them to take immediately. You can't like make a long supply, which is unfortunate. But you could make a soft gel too. Yeah. And frankincense you can put in chocolates and hot chocolate and other fun things like that too.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are there any other way you guys use these? Have you tried, have either of you received the Balsam Fir before? I don't remember what year we got it, but it was a promo at least 1 or 2 years in the past.
Yeah, I'd have to go check. I don't think I do.
Yeah, it's
I
really
have it
nice.
now, and I've been diffusing it this week actually, like while I was decorating for Christmas and
Yeah.
not even
It's
thinking of
really
like the
fresh and
uses for
crisp.
me.
What was that?
I said I've been diffusing it this week, like while I've been decorating the house and whatnot,
Yeah.
not even thinking of its purpose, just it just was right time for whatever reason.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, it's great for stress and anxiety. And the holidays, as joyful as they can be for many, are also overwhelming. Yeah.
I just made a solstice blend, but it has
Yeah,
Douglas
I
fir
really like it.
Ooh.
and Siberian and Douglas fir with cypress, wintergreen, and juniper berry.
Ooh,
So I'm kind of curious to get the balsam fir.
yeah,
But I just made like 12 of them. So I was like, oh,
that sounds great. And
it's
juniper
nice.
berry is such a great one. I mean, frankincense is great for scars, and myrrh is incredible for pain, by the way, as well. Like really, really great for pain. I know I've shared with both of you, but Adam Fairley and Elizabeth Ashley have this amazing podcast, Fellowship in Essential Oils, and I've been just like geeking out on the science, the mythology, and all the different things. And that was one of the things I knew myrrh was great. I mean, it's the divine mother, where frankincense is the divine masculine, the divine father. So these are really great to balance that masculine, feminine, mother wounds, father wounds. I even just saying that, this has never come out of me or come to me before, but saying that, I'm like, oh, inner child work. So
Beth,
doing
I
more.
think you're reading my mind because I was literally just thinking this. So
Really?
we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah, and it makes sense. Like if myrrh is great for physical pain, they always also work on the energetic realm in the same way, in like mirrored.
And this is why working with the soles of your feet and applying the oils to your kidney meridian is really helpful too, because that's your inherited information. So your DNA, and you could even, people who do have lower back pain, or even if you don't, if you're doing like ancestral work and you're putting these oils onto your lower back, you're tapping into that, your maternal line, your paternal line, like your genetic information. So from an energetic standpoint, it can be really powerful work.
And the furs are also really great for generational and ancestral trauma work.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so nice that they are, because the big trees, I feel so safely held in their strength, you know. So that makes sense. And like the knowledge, and they're all of these actually in the center of my page, where I wrote down a couple notes about these three oils. I wrote the word wise, because they're all like really source of wisdom.
Well, and they weather the storm, right? So they stay, through the whole year. Whereas deciduous trees, you're going through this whole process of like shedding and being reborn. And, you know, with the firs, it's like I don't know, that's what came through weathering the storm.
Yeah, it's so cool. I was at yesterday was my first day skiing and ski instructing, and I lucked out and got a kid who um can't ski anywhere, but we were able to go up all the way up to the top and ski down on like an easy trail. And when we first got to the top, it's always so beautiful. I mean, those like super snow covered trees that are just like coated and heavy and magical. And yesterday, because the weather has been, wasn't rainy yet really, but it was like misty enough. And it was so cool because they were like that super heavy snow coat, and then a thick sheet of ice, not sheet, but like thickly, it was like dipped in ice. It was so cool. It was like icicle snow covered trees that you could like see through like a thick layer of ice. And I was just like, how strong. And I was just like I was literally talking to like the kid and this like instructor shadowing me. I was like, we have to stop and admire this. And I was like, they have to be so strong. Look at all that weight. Wow. Yeah. And that's what we're working with. And it's great this time of year too, because even with, those of us who do winter sports or will go out in any weather to hike or whatever, we're still outside of probably a lot less for the most part than we are other times of year. So I love that we have access to essential oils for connecting with nature, tree hugging, getting the benefits of forest bathing, all of that. So you can literally like touch a plant in your hand. Oh, look, I'm like just touched a plant and I didn't in my house. So it's great for folks in like urban areas too. Or if you have an injury and you're just not able to get outside as much. Yeah. Oh,
Thank
and frankincense is also amazing. It just popped in. It was like, don't forget about me. It's the glass half full oil. Really great for like I mean, we already talked about stress and anxiety, but it also can bring a bit of joy. I mean, I love using it with wild orange. And actually a really great blend is just frankincense, lavender, and wild orange. It's just like a magical kind of like all-purpose blend for literally like for almost anything. Especially emotional nervous system support. But like one drop of frankincense on the roof of your mouth doesn't taste the best until you get used to it. And even when you get used to it, really amazing emotional support, getting us through these darkest days. And if you have Melissa, I would definitely recommend pairing it with her because she's the oil of light. So you have the oil of light and the oil of truth coming together. Maybe add some bergamot or wild orange and whew, fly and bring that brightness and joy in, or lemon, something citrus and bright. Green mandarin's great for the heart. Yeah. Do you guys have any other questions or anything you wanted to share about these or anything else tonight?
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, just a reminder, you can get the frankincense for free with 200 PV order. Myrrh's 10% off this month in the 5 mil. And that's the undiluted. And then Balsam Fir is free until the 15th with 125 PV LRP order. And just if anyone doesn't know what that means or how to get that, reach out to whoever shared this recording with you or invited you, and we'll all be happy to help out. Or you can reach out to me if you don't know anybody. Thanks, Emily, for helping. I'm going to stop the recording and then keep it up for a minute.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.